All right, so are you ready to dive into a deep dive on numerology?
Oh, I'm ready.
Specifically, life path number 13.
Ooh.
Now, I know what you're thinking, 13. Unlucky 13.
Right.
But trust me, the sources that we've got paint a totally different picture.
Okay.
One that's all about ambition and creativity
Interesting.
and some serious leadership vibes.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
So for those of you who maybe haven't explored numerology before, a life path number is like a code calculated from your birth date.
Right.
And it supposedly reveals these like core personality traits
Uh-huh.
and even potential destinies.
Okay.
Think of it kind of like a cosmic blueprint.
Yeah, I like that.
So what we're doing today is exploring the unique characteristics and possibilities of those born on the 13th.
Okay, so let's just get right to it.
Yeah, let's address the elephant in the room.
The unlucky 13.
The whole unlucky 13 thing.
Right.
Our sources actually frame it as a powerful life path number,
Really?
but they also mention something called karmic set.
Karmic debt.
Yeah. Have you heard this before?
I mean, I've heard of karma,
Right.
but what do they mean by karmic debt?
So it sounds intense, but it's not like, you know, being punished for past lives or anything like that.
Okay,
In numerology, it's more about specific life lessons you're meant to learn.
I see.
And for Life Path 13, it often boils down to balancing that fierce independence with the need for connection and collaboration.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Right.
When you think about it.
Because these individuals are rebellious and independent,
Uh-huh.
always questioning the status quo.
Hmm.
They crave freedom, and they have a knack for innovation.
Oh, so to reach their full potential, they might need to learn how to work within a team, even if it feels a bit restricting at times.
Exactly. So it's not their favorite thing,
Right.
but it's something that they might have to learn to do.
Okay, I like that.
So think of it this way. Imagine a brilliant artist with a groundbreaking vision.
Okay.
Their independent spirit fuels their creativity. But to bring that vision to life, they'll likely need to collaborate with others.
Yeah, of course.
From fellow artists to gallery owners to patrons.
Mm-hmm.
The karmic debt here isn't a punishment.
Right.
It's a nudge towards mastering the art of collaboration without sacrificing their unique vision.
I like that a lot.
So it's like a balancing act
It is.
between their inherent need for autonomy and the realization that sometimes the most impactful achievements require teamwork.
Like a symphony.
So our sources also highlight some specific strengths that come with being a life path 13.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Apparently, they're incredibly strong communicators
Okay.
and natural-born leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Does that track with this whole independent spirit thing?
Well, it might seem contradictory at first,
Yeah.
but think about it. Someone who confidently charts their own course is likely to inspire others.
That's true.
Their independence can be magnetic,
Yeah.
and coupled with strong communication skills,
Right.
it's easy to see how they can become influential leaders.
Yeah.
Even if they're leading in unconventional ways.
So it's not about conforming to traditional leadership roles.
Right.
It's about leading by example by forging their own path
Mm-hmm.
and inspiring others to do the same.
Yeah, I see that.
And this brings us to another fascinating aspect of Life Path 13.
Okay. What's that?
The tendency to resist traditional approaches.
Oh, yeah.
While this can be a source of frustration in conventional settings,
Sure.
it's also the driving force behind their creativity and innovation.
That makes sense.
So maybe instead of trying to fit into a predefined box,
Yeah.
they're meant to build their own box to create something entirely new.
Right.
And our sources actually suggest that this makes them incredibly well suited for careers that allow for autonomy and creative expression.
Okay.
Things like entrepreneurship,
Mm-hmm.
artistic pursuits,
Right.
or even humanitarian work where their drive to make a difference can flourish.
So if we connect this back to their karmic debt,
Right.
it starts to make even more sense.
It all ties together.
It does.
So I don't know if you saw this, but we have this list here of famous figures born on the 13th.
I did see that, and some of them are pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The list includes individuals from various fields like Margaret Thatcher,
The Iron Lady herself.
known for her strong leadership,
Very strong leadership.
and Paul Simon,
Oh, wow.
the musical genius
Yeah.
behind so many iconic songs.
Yeah, he's got a lot of them.
And let's not forget Sacha Baron Cohen,
Oh, right.
who's built a career on pushing boundaries
Yes, he has.
and challenging societal norms through comedy.
Oh, absolutely.
So these are some pretty diverse examples.
They are.
But what strikes me is how they all achieve success in fields that require a certain level of independence
Right.
and a willingness to break the mold.
They all embody that core characteristic of Life Path 13. forging their own paths, and leaving a lasting impact.
It's like they're living proof that the number 13 isn't about bad luck at all,
Yeah.
but about harnessing a unique kind of power.
That's a good way to put it.
So I am definitely seeing the number 13 in a whole new light.
Yeah, me too.
So for our listener, if you're a 13 or know someone who is, I think the takeaway here is that while the path might have its challenges,
You might?
the potential for greatness is undeniable.
I agree.
It's about embracing that independent spirit, learning from those karmic lessons, and ultimately using your unique strengths to create something truly remarkable.
I love that.
Yeah, so we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going
And what are we going to do when we come back? I'm excited.
to dive even deeper
Okay.
into the mysteries of Life Path 13.
Awesome. I'm ready.
Okay, so we've talked about those born on the 13th having this unique kind of power,
Right.
but our sources also mention hidden emotional depth as like a key trait.
Okay.
What exactly does that mean?
Well, it's a bit mysterious, isn't it?
It sounds a bit mysterious.
But it is.
Yeah.
But think back to what we discussed earlier about like the 13 personality,
Right.
independent, rebellious, yes,
Uh-huh.
but also deeply sensitive.
Oh.
It's like they experience emotions on a grander scale.
So it's not that their emotions are hidden so much as they're complex?
Yeah,
Like there's a lot going on beneath the surface?
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's this depth
Right.
that fuels their creativity and allows them to connect with others on like a profound level.
Interesting.
But it also means they might need to develop strong emotional intelligence
Right.
to navigate those intense feelings effectively.
This reminds me of something else our sources mentioned.
Okay?
The potential for a spiritual awakening
Yeah.
in those with a life path number 13.
Ooh, that's interesting.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's fascinating, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like all this independence and emotional depth eventually leads to a point where they start questioning everything,
Right.
looking for a deeper meaning
Yeah.
beyond the surface.
Mm-hmm.
This could manifest in various ways.
Okay.
A sudden interest in philosophy,
Yeah.
a fascination with different spiritual practices,
Yeah.
or even just a profound shift in their values and priorities.
So it's not necessarily about organized religion,
No, not necessarily.
but more about an inner journey of self-discovery
Exactly.
and connecting with something bigger than themselves.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And this awakening isn't always a comfortable process.
Sure.
It can be a period of upheaval and uncertainty as they challenge their old beliefs and embrace new perspectives.
Oh, so it can be a little rocky.
It can be,
Yeah.
but ultimately it leads to a richer, more authentic sense of self.
It's like they're peeling back the layers of themselves, confronting those karmic lessons head on,
Yeah,
and emerging as a more evolved, more conscious version of themselves.
exactly. It's a process of transformation.
Wow.
And it often ties back to their need to balance that fierce independence
Right.
with a sense of interconnectedness.
Right.
They realize they're part of something much larger than themselves.
Yeah.
And that realization can be incredibly powerful.
So for our listener, if any of this is resonating with you,
Yeah,
I think the key takeaway is to honor that emotional depth
I agree.
and not be afraid to explore those deeper questions.
Ask the big questions.
Yeah.
Embrace the journey of self-discovery,
Yeah.
even when it gets a bit messy.
Yeah, and it will.
It will.
So we've been talking about this idea of karmic debt,
Right.
but how does this actually play out
Yeah.
in the life of Life Path 13?
Well, let's say someone with Life Path 13 has incredible entrepreneurial spirit
Okay.
and innovative ideas.
Mm-hmm.
They have that inherent drive to create and lead,
Right.
but they also have this karmic debt related to collaboration.
Uh-huh.
So what might happen is they repeatedly find themselves in situations where their ventures stall because they struggle to delegate or incorporate feedback from others.
Interesting.
They might even sabotage potential partnerships due to their fear of losing control.
So their karmic debt manifests as these recurring challenges
Yeah.
that force them to confront their need for greater balance.
Yeah, like the universe keeps presenting them with opportunities
Yeah.
to learn that crucial lesson.
Right.
And each time they resist or fail to fully embrace collaboration, the lesson gets a little bit louder.
Until eventually they have that aha moment,
Right.
realize that by letting go of some of that control, they can actually achieve even greater things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that collaboration, when done right,
Yeah.
doesn't diminish their individuality.
Uh-huh.
It actually amplifies it.
Now that we're talking about real-life examples,
Yep.
do you think we could take a closer look at one of those famous figures we mentioned earlier?
Sure.
Someone whose life really embodies the traits and potential of Life Path 13.
Absolutely. Let's delve into the life of Paul Simon,
The singer-songwriter.
singer-songwriter.
Okay, so what specifically about Paul Simon's journey aligns with what we've been discussing?
Well, first and foremost, his musical talent is undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
He has that creative spark,
Mm-hmm.
that innovative approach to songwriting that we often see in those with Life Path 13.
Yeah.
But he also faced his share of struggles,
Right.
particularly when it came to collaboration.
Like with Art Garfunkel.
His early partnership with Art Garfunkel,
Right.
while incredibly successful,
It was.
was also marked by tension
Yeah.
and ultimately ended in a very public split.
So it's almost like a textbook example of the karmic debt playing out.
Right.
He had this immense talent and drive,
He did.
but those collaborative challenges kept surfacing.
Exactly. And you can see how that theme continued throughout his career.
Interesting.
He had successful solo projects,
Mm-hmm.
but he also had periods where he seemed to struggle to find that balance
Yeah.
between his independent spirit and the need to work with others.
But what's fascinating to me is that despite those challenges, he never stopped creating.
That's true.
He kept pushing boundaries, experimenting with different sounds and styles,
Yeah.
and ultimately produced a body of work that's both deeply personal and universally resonant.
And that's the beauty of Life Path 13.
Yeah.
It's not about avoiding the challenges, it's about learning from them and using them to fuel your growth.
Yeah.
Paul Simon, despite the ups and downs, never lost sight of his unique vision.
Right.
He kept creating, kept evolving, and ultimately left an indelible mark on the world of music.
It's like he embodies that idea of spiritual awakening we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
He didn't shy away from those difficult experiences. He used them to deepen his understanding of himself and his art.
Exactly. And that's the message I hope our listeners take away from this deep dive.
Mm.
Life Path 13 isn't about being lucky or unlucky. It's about embracing the journey with all its complexities and contradictions
Yeah.
and using it to become the most authentic, most powerful version of yourself.
I love that. Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
From busting the myth of the unlucky 13
Okay.
to exploring the nuances of karmic debt and spiritual awakening.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts for our listener as we wrap up this segment?
If you're a 13 or know someone who's, remember this, your independence is your strength. Your emotional depth is a gift, and your potential for growth is limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Embrace the challenges, trust your intuition, and never stop exploring the unique path that unfolds before you.
That's such a beautiful and empowering message. It's like a call to action for all the 13s out there to step into their power and make their mark on the world. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired right now.
I am too.
You know, I think one of the coolest things about numerology,
Yeah.
even if you take it with a grain of salt,
Yeah.
is that it gives you a new lens to kind of view yourself and the world around you.
I agree. It offers like a framework,
Yeah.
a language
Yeah.
to talk about those deeper aspects of ourselves that we don't always have the words for.
So for our listener who might be thinking, okay, this is fascinating,
Oh.
all this talk about Life Path 13, but what do I actually do with this information? What advice would you give them?
Well, first and foremost, I would say don't get too hung up on labels or take it as a set-in-stone prediction.
Right.
Numerology is more like a roadmap,
Yeah.
highlighting potential paths and challenges,
Yeah.
but you're always in the driver's seat.
So it's about understanding your tendencies, your strengths and weaknesses,
Right.
and using that knowledge to make conscious choices.
Exactly.
Okay, so if you resonate with the traits of Life Path 13,
Yeah.
great. Use that awareness to lean into your strength,
Uh-huh.
your independence, creativity, leadership potential,
Hmm.
but also be mindful of those areas where you might need to put in a little extra effort,
Sure.
like collaboration
Right.
or emotional regulation.
Yes.
So it's about self-awareness and personal growth,
Exactly.
not about fitting into a predetermined box.
Precisely. Everyone's journey is unique.
Right.
Even if they share the same life path number,
It's true.
your experiences, your environment, your choices, they all contribute to shaping who you are and who you're becoming.
So what I'm taking away from this is that it's not about trying to become a stereotypical 13, but about using this information as a starting point for your own exploration.
Exactly. Numerology can be a catalyst for deeper self-reflection, prompting you to ask questions like, what are my core values?
Right, yeah.
What truly motivates me?
Uh-huh.
What kind of impact do I want to make on the world?
It's almost like having a personalized guidebook.
It is.
highlighting the areas where you might thrive and those where you might stumble.
And the beauty of it is that you get to choose how you navigate those paths.
Right,
You
yeah.
can lean into your strengths,
Right.
work on your weaknesses, and ultimately create a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
Well said. So, as we wrap up this deep dive into life path number 13,
Yeah.
I want to leave our listener with this. Whether you buy into numerology or not,
Yeah.
the idea that we each have a unique path, a purpose to uncover, is undeniably powerful.
It is.
And sometimes even the most unconventional tools can spark profound insights and lead us to unexpected places.
I completely agree. And who knows, maybe by exploring these seemingly mystical concepts, we open ourselves up to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
That's a great note to end on. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
It was my pleasure.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and never be afraid to question the status quo, especially if you happen to be a 13.
Or even if you're not.
Right, exactly.
There you go.